So that means you'll have to end it. Oh, no, maybe not. It might let me end it.
We're alive.
I know. So Fran and I are still playing because we're still learning all the fun access that Fran has now that I have made her a partner in this format that I use. So thank you for tuning in. This is Friday with Fran. I am one host, Shelley, and that would be Fran. I don't know if it shows you that way or that way. Are you there?
No.
Are you here?
I'm there.
Okay, because that's the opposite of how it is in my screen. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Hi, Alex.
Okay. Hi, Alex.
So make sure if you're watching, if this is your first time ever, be ready for a roller coaster silly ride because Fran and I don't always have a direction. We just start talking, and wherever the conversation takes us is where we end up. And so make sure that you like this video, you give it a thumbs up, not a thumbs down, a thumbs up. I had it backwards.
Yeah.
You subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, you like the page if you are watching through Facebook, so that you get the notifications of when we're coming on, because you don't want to miss it, because we laugh almost every week, and sometimes we laugh at each other and sometimes we laugh with each other. So yes, Alex, yeah. Absolutely. We have balance every week, and Emmy is behind you trying to play your keyboard.
Yeah, but it's turned off, so we're okay.
Oh, darn it. I thought we were going to have the musical stylings of Emmy today.
No, not today.
Oh, all right. And you have Cooper? You're holding Cooper?
Yes, Cooper. Hold on, let me roll back without rolling.
I can't see him, but I can see you've got your thing on.
He's in there.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get him hurt.
Oh, well, just be comfortable. Don't worry about trying to make him seen.
There he is.
There he is. And
do you have a friend?
I have my Jonas. I just wanted to show anybody who has not been with us before. Oh, come here, Jonas. How much Jonas and Cooper look alike. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Jonas doesn't like to be on camera, so he's turning every which way, but being on camera. They got the same white face, same big ears. Same, yeah. They look like they could be twins.
See, Cooper could see Jonas. Cooper watches TV, so he saw Jonas actually.
Oh, I don't think that Jonas saw him.
Okay. All right. So now that we've introduced our furry friends,
right,
on Friday with Fran. Oh wait, we don't have that doodad yet. The
doodad. Oh, the name of the show.
Yeah.
Are you going to do it, or do you want me to do it?
No, you can do it.
Okay.
Twins.
I will, hold on. I got to make it so that it doesn't scroll across the bottom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go.
And for anyone that wonders why the scrolling is distracting for me, and I'll never get anywhere in our conversation because I'll just be going, you.
Yeah. So for anybody who is joining us, if this is your first time ever, let's pretend, Fran, or imagine or whatever, that we have people who have never seen us before.
Okay.
We should probably introduce ourselves, because I don't think we've done that in a really long time.
Hi, I'm Fran.
Hi, I'm Shelley. Well, we did take the names off now that we put the banner up, so that's.
You can't have names and banner?
Only if you scroll.
Oh, I thought I saw where the names in the banner. Okay. No, I can't have the scroll. That just makes me upset.
I don't think it worked. I don't know. We'll have to play with it and see.
Okay.
So I come to this program from the viewpoint of a special education teacher. Everything we talk about on this show relates somehow to either special education, raising children with special needs, or being a person with a unique ability. And those last two things are also known as disabilities. I have over 25 years experience being a special educator, and that's my expertise in this show. And Fran, I will let you introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah, me. I was trying to figure it out, but I used to think that our names and Friday with Fran were up there. I happen to have this many kiddos who happen to have different abilities, and I have some unique abilities as well. And I have not always been that way, but for at least this many, all the calendars now.
I think we're more like this many now, actually, for you.
Oh, okay. I now have some different abilities because I had a stroke, and I can't do numbers and sequencing and time and some other things. Or well, okay, I take that back. It's not that I can't do them. I just do them way different than
Differently.
the normal person or the typical way you guys communicate. So,
Right.
is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's me.
So that's you.
And
as
I
an
have
expert.
a cat that's you can kind of see her ear. Here,
Yeah.
let me see. There's Emmy. She's
There's your
my
little face.
untrained emotional support cat.
Yeah.
And so
And so
apparently thinks I need support.
how does you're probably thinking, oh, Fran and Shelley got connected because Shelley probably worked with Fran's kids in school since Shelley's a teacher and Fran has two children. No, you would be wrong. We actually met at a therapeutic writing center.
Yes.
Where Fran's kids were writers and Fran was an instructor and I was a volunteer.
Yeah, I helped start that program.
Yeah. And so Fran has a lot of experience with therapeutic writing, with horses in general. And then, as we said, her two children that she has raised. So, yeah, that was 10 years ago. No, more than that. And we kind of have kept in touch, but in the last year or so have been very connected because we've been doing this. And it's been a great joy, and I'm happy that we're doing it. And so
Yes.
I think that's a good introduction.
Is that a good introduction? And I've also worked with individuals with unique needs.
Hi, Mom.
Right? Hello.
Yes.
Yay, you're here.
Yeah. So, what are we going to talk about today, Fran?
Well, at least we're going to start with how to help our kiddos who happen to have unique, different needs, as well as I was thinking about this. I think this is even geared towards all of us. Mm-hmm. How do we help ourselves get through the holidays? I'm in physical therapy right now, and I was speaking with my physical therapist, and she was listing all these things. And as I was leaving, I took the time to say, don't forget to just take a moment just to breathe. Don't forget to take a moment to rest, because we do not have to fill every moment of this holiday season doing. We can just be. And before someone else puts it in the comments, yes, I know that refers to myself as well. And it refers to you too, Shelley. Just letting you know.
Really? What?
Yes, it does. It is not just for our viewers or for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
You mean I have to take some advice?
Yes, you do.
I don't do that well. I'm an excellent giver of advice.
Okay. Well, learn to be a receiver as well. I'm learning that, so you have to
All
as
right,
well.
Fine.
So, on that note, I found this thingamadoodle that I sent you.
I love her technical terms, by the way.
Hey, now. Well, some people would call it a graphic. Some people would call it
a thingamadoodle. I think that's great.
So, here you go.
Oh, look at you being able to play.
Yeah. So, it says when kids melt down over the holidays. So part of me is like, meltdown? It's more when kids communicate, as I have learned from you.
Through
their actions rather than their words.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Behavior.
Through behavior. Yep. And most people, when they say behavior, think of it as a negative.
That's true.
So that's why I was trying to think of another word, and that's why I came up with it, through their actions rather than verbally through their words. So, how about it does not mean they are a bad child.
It may mean they need a break.
What does that mean to you?
Like,
yeah, I thought we could go like.
So you want me to elaborate on?
Yeah.
Okay. So
need a break. What is?
Okay. So, well, let's talk about bad first. Can we talk about that first?
Sure.
Okay. And the reason that I wanted to talk about that first is because what I consider bad might not be the same thing that you consider bad. So,
right.
You as the individual, again, this also applies to me, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It does.
We have to know what our definition of that word is to know how to describe that to our children or to those around us. And to know for ourselves what our limits are as far as when we also could need that break.
Yep.
And so to me, having a break could mean a break from being around people, a break from technology, a break from eating, a break from being outside or being inside. It's there's and the timing could be 5 minutes, could be an hour, could be 3 days. It just really depends on the person. And remember, for anyone who has not joined us, you wouldn't be remembering this because you wouldn't have heard us say this before, but behaviors are communication, and behaviors are personal, but not to the person receiving the behavior. They are personal to the person giving or exhibiting the behavior. Mm-hmm. So that's why I can't really say, oh, a break means this, this, and this all the time, because that break is dependent upon the individual and the particular behavior that they're exhibiting.
And it may, for that individual, it will vary from situation to situation.
Right. Yep. So what do you think those two things mean?
So often we project onto the child what we feel others must think, because the child is having the as the header calls it, meltdown. And as for a break, I call it, I put myself in timeout. Mm-hmm. For me, it's a matter of I need to, I shut it all down. I turn off the lights because lights bother me. Sounds bother me. When I need a break, I need a break from everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes your break is you just need to turn the lights off for a little while.
Yeah, that's true.
When you're in maybe, full timeout.
Yeah, when I'm in full timeout, yeah. But you're right.
Yeah. So that's why, I want to bring that out, because it could just be, all right, I need to walk into a different room and count to 10 or 20 or 100, take some deep breaths, and then I'm okay. I can face whatever, or I may need to go into a room and cry for a little bit and come back, and I'll be okay to get through whatever I need to get through. Mm-hmm. So I think it means different things to everybody. So the next one, it does not mean
you are a bad parent. It might mean
they are overwhelmed. It might mean that you're overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Might mean both.
It's not a reflection on your parenting.
No.
And so often we can feel that, and then that puts that added pressure upon ourselves.
Right.
So in that instance, I think sometimes the best thing to do is just to say, it is the situation, it is not my parenting, it is not my child. Or
Exactly.
it is not myself. It is not me who is bad. It is just the situation.
Absolutely. And I recorded a podcast on earlier today on, it's called The Relatable Voice, the RV. And in that conversation, we talked about the fact that we all want to believe that our children are perfect, but they are still human. And they are going to make mistakes. They are.
Yes.
And just like us, they're going to have great skills and strengths, and then they might have some weaknesses, like we have weaknesses.
Yep.
And while we're in an IEP meeting, unfortunately, that's where our focus is. But relating that to this, we all are human. We all have a capacity to handle things. And when that capacity is reached, it doesn't mean anyone is bad. It just means that capacity has been filled.
Right.
And we need to empty it so that we can handle more stuff. So,
excuse me. I said definitely.
So the next one, they are trying, it does not mean they are trying to ruin your fun.
It may mean they need connection with you.
So what do you think about that one?
It is so true. And sometimes people think by reading they need connection with you that you literally have to stop everything you're doing and focus on that child, the individual. But in reality, and I have a friend that I've watched work this out and put this into motion. Their child just needs that connection, so they will walk up behind their child and put their hand on the shoulder and just squeeze because they need that deep pressure. But they can continue on doing what they're doing, but they needed the connection with their mom.
Right.
And it is so neat to watch because you can see just the child relax.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do need to literally remove yourself and your child and connect and take that little bit of time. There are times I know with my daughter, she needed me. She needed all of me, my whole attention. And I just needed, and I excused myself and I reconnected with her. And I said, okay, what can I help? What do you need right now to help you get through this? Because we're not leaving, we are staying. But what can I do to help you get through where we are right now?
That's awesome.
And sometimes she couldn't tell me. And I would say, and if you don't know right now, how about I'm going to go back in and you can stay here, but I need to go back in because I need to do this. But I will come back and check on you. And if I don't, come get me because I can get distracted.
Right.
And so I give her, and that gives her the out to know that I am there and I want to be, but that I'm human and I'm going to forget things because there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
So that's how I would need to do that with my daughter.
And the way that it's worded, they are trying to ruin your fun. That to me says it's a conscious thing that they would be doing at that moment. And they're not consciously or maliciously trying to ruin the fun. Again, to me, it goes back to they've hit that capacity to handle whatever the situation is, that they have reached their capacity, and they have to step out for a little bit. And I love what you said there about that you told her, or you'll tell her, you know, if you're not sure what you need right now, that's okay. If you don't have the words for it right now, that's okay. You can hang out here for a little bit. I'm going to go back in. You're not in trouble. Make sure that, you know, that's something that they understand too. And I'll be back to check on you. And I love that you told her, but if I don't come back, come get me. Because that shows her that you love her, but yeah, there's some other things that are happening that have to have your attention. And it's not that you don't love her or that you don't want to give her attention, but sometimes other things have to take priority. Or sometimes you need them to be priority, because if you're having fun, that's one of the ways of self-care, is laughing and fellowshipping and being around other people. And so you might need that for yourself too, and that's okay. Now, don't do that all the time.
No. Right.
I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying.
I think it comes back to what Alex said. It's a balance.
Yeah.
And then, and you know, I was thinking as well, you know, we talked about this being good for kids and for ourselves. Also, it's good for, I know that, I know I have a lot of friends in life now that have become caretakers of their parents as well. And it helps with even in that situation, because oftentimes the things that have helped with my children, I have found have helped with someone with dementia, or with someone that just has a short-term memory loss. It kind of, because they lose track of the time, or think I haven't done something, or they get frustrated, and so it may appear that they're trying to ruin what's occurring and the fun, but in reality they have no idea what's going on, and they're trying to figure out where it is. So
right. Yep. And that them needing connection with you, there is and you talked about it a little bit, but there was something that I used to do to students, and it wasn't necessarily applying heavy pressure like the squeezing, but it was a very light, like I like literally would use my finger or maybe a few fingers on their back or maybe on their shoulders, and I would just sort of make circles or just kind of, you know, squiggly lines. And that physical connection, a lot of times when a child is in a crisis mode, and when I say a crisis mode, I don't necessarily mean that they are flailing on the floor, kicking and screaming and you know, that sort of thing. It could just mean that, you know, they're just really fidgety, or, you know, talking a lot, or you know, whatever. But that touch brings them to the moment. And when they're in those crisis modes, they're not necessarily in the moment. They're oftentimes not, they're outside of themselves in a sense, like they're starting to think about all these other things, or they're not thinking at all. And so I'm not describing this very well, I don't feel, but when you touch them, that goes, oh, here's reality.
It reconnects them to the here and now.
Yes. And so it is, I mean, there's some science behind that. And then, yeah, just like that.
But yeah, I want to say the light touch is good, but the light touch will not help. It'll make it worse. So that's why knowing it's important prior to getting in these situations, having some strategies and positive coping mechanisms set up is important.
Right. Yeah.
or you're
I've
setting
been
yourself up for failure, or you're setting your child up, or whomever up for failure.
Right. Yep. So let's go to the next one. It does not mean they are trying to embarrass you.
It may mean they're struggling with a sensory. I think it's like missing some stuff, but yeah.
I know. I was like, did they just leave it like that because they ran out of space? Or
yeah, I'm thinking it because another one looks like it's missing a little bit too.
Yeah.
So, but that one has a period, so I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you think they are struggling with? A sensory
issue, a sensory overload, a sensory deprivation. It could be all of the above. And I think we kind of really actually addressed it just above that. It's a matter of maybe knowing what those sensors, what they struggle with. Sorry, my cat's tail.
It's okay.
Sensory.
You just disappeared into a cattail.
Yeah. It may mean they're knowing, okay, so I know that loudness, really loud sounds, not even loud, but just constant sound bothers my daughter. And if she walks out sometimes, I know that that's her. Welcome back, Alex. I know that it is the way she's trying to cope with the sound. So I carry a set of earplugs for her. She's supposed to carry a set of earplugs, but I also carry a set for her.
Yeah.
And I don't say, "Where's your earplugs?" I just hand them to her. That's not the time to sit there and address, "Where are your earplugs?" The time should have been prior to going in, especially if I know there's the potential. Hey, did you pack your earplugs? Make sure you put them in your purse. Right. So that's a way that I do that with my child. And I also have a set of earplugs for myself because I need them quite often. Like I went to a movie the other day. I haven't been to a movie since the kids were little. I went to see The Chosen, The Messengers.
Oh yeah.
And I did not realize they're very loud. Very loud. Just very loud. Yeah. And then the flickering lights, I was like, maybe movies are not the greatest thing in the world for me anymore. But I was there and my wheelchair was many levels below me. Someone had helped me up the steps. So there I stayed.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, yes. So
Fran, you made a good point that I want to discuss more. You said you need, some pre-planning, knowing the person, being prepared. But what can you remember?
Sorry. I just read your mom's comments.
Can you remember all the way back to the A time that one of your kids had an episode and you weren't prepared because they had never had this before and you didn't know what to do?
I was frantic. Because I look back up and I'm like, people are looking at me. People are going to think I don't know how to parent my child. They're going to take my child away from me. They're going to think I'm beating my child because she was screaming bloody murder. And I didn't know what to do. And, and she also had birthmarks at this time around her ankles, but they look like bruises.
Oh,
and she had anyway, she did not have pants on because they were dirty. So it was like, these people, so I was frantically trying to figure out something. And it took me just going, it doesn't matter what everybody else does. I got to figure this out. And once I could get control of myself, I was able to then go, okay, what can I do to help my daughter? And just getting control of myself probably helped her the most at that point. But it did start me on a journey of seeking ways to help calm her and prior to having that happening.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and without intending to, it kind of leads into the next one. But something that I want to say before, well, no, actually, I think it'll feed better into this one. So it does not mean you need to fix their feelings.
It may mean they need you to be their calm.
Yeah. And so what I was going to add to the previous one that as you finished talking was no matter if it's an emergency situation and you're the only person there, or it's, a type of situation like this, as much as possible, what you just said, you need to be aware of your own emotions and feelings and calm as much as possible yourself so that you can be that calming. Because oftentimes, as I said, especially if they're sharing big emotions, if you share a big emotion back, it's just going to keep escalating. But if they're sharing a big emotion and you can just stay here, it's like a magnet. And it starts, it doesn't always, and sometimes it starts to come down and you're like, oh, okay. And then it flares back up again. But if you can stay calm and stay at this level of emotion, not take it personally.
Yeah, in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, that goes back to what we talk about, or what you talked about. It's personal for the person, but not for you. But sometimes it is so hard. But I've really been trying recently to keep that saying in my head so that I remember. Yeah, apparently I do need more animals here in the picture. Sorry.
Where's Yanko?
Huh?
Where's Yanko?
Running around somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Because Yanko and Emmy don't get along very well, so it's probably good because Emmy might launch herself, and who knows?
That could be bad. Yeah.
So yeah. It doesn't. Oh, sorry. Were you going to talk more?
Nope. I was going to go to the next one.
Oh, it's kind of weird that you and I are kind of in sync. That's not too chipmunky. It does not mean you need to jump to their demands.
It may mean they are seeking a quiet, calm space, I presume is what that is supposed to say.
Yeah.
It's cut off on mine.
It's it's cut off. It was just a graphic I'd found somewhere.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. It's from our mama village. But yeah, so if they're
quiet, calm space.
If they're screaming, I want this, it's Christmas time, so I'm thinking, I want this toy. I want this particular toy. You don't have to give in and give them that particular toy.
Even though sometimes you're in the moment feeling like that's going to fix the problem.
Right. And
if you've done that in the past, it doesn't mean you're a failure because you've done it.
Right. Yeah. And I was trying to figure out how to say it because occasionally you may have to do that just to move out of that individual situation. But you don't want to be into a habit because then what you're teaching that person is throw a fit and you get what you want. So you have to be careful about that. But yeah, sometimes you don't have any other resources within yourself at that moment. And you have to give yourself grace. And fine, here, we're done, But yeah, so if they're that was just the first need or demand. It's not a need. Their demand. I like the way that they word that you don't need to jump to their demands. But yeah, just that if you can, again, staying calm, staying quiet, redirecting, which they don't say in here. And actually, I guess they don't really give tips. They just say what it could mean. So I I think we're
And
doing a good job.
I think we're doing the other part of that.
Yeah.
The ABCs.
Yeah.
Kinda. Okay.
It does not mean they need to learn a lesson.
It may mean they are tired, hungry, or bored.
Yeah.
Oh, so true.
It's that communication. What are they communicating to you? They might not need to learn a lesson, but maybe we do. And what is our lesson?
The Snickers commercial?
Yes. That's a perfect example for this one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And,
yep, absolutely.
And I know when I'm tired, I don't always communicate well.
Nope, I don't either. When I don't feel well, when I've had a bad...
When you're hangry.
When I've had a bad experience, when my head is not where it needs to be in a particular situation. Yeah. And holidays, we had a reprieve last year of, running from this house to this house to this house to this event to that event to that event, to see Santa, to do this, to do this, to do that, to open the presents but not play with them, and then because we got to go here and open more presents and have a meal, and like you said, just jam packing every single moment. And we don't ask kids how they feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't give them a choice.
Mm-hmm.
They are told, this is what you're going to do, and you have to be happy at every single place that we go to, and you have to be perfectly behaved at every single place that we go to, and deal with it. And our kids can't do that. It's not healthy for us to pack every moment.
I got to show you something. Can you see this?
Yes.
She worked her way onto my lap.
Uh-huh.
Okay, sorry.
And so, yeah, this year, things are opened up a little bit more. And I've noticed that with people, that there are Christmas parties again. There are school programs again.
Mm-hmm.
There are, drive around and look at the lights again, which I don't know that totally went away last year, but it did for a lot of people because they didn't want to be in the car with more than one person. Yep, Alex, balance. It comes in all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing, again, that goes back to them being overwhelmed,
Yeah. And so I think the key thing is when going into a situation, whether even if it's going, okay, we're piling in the car to go look at lights. Knowing ahead of time what your child's weaknesses and strengths are.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can be aware of when they're starting to hit the limits of their weaknesses so that you can play into their strengths.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I don't know where it came from, but there you go.
All right, now say it again because I got to find my sticky note and write it down.
I don't know. You're just going to have to replay this Friday thing because I have no idea where it came from. But I think that really is the key. And I think also not just for our child, but for ourselves. I need to know where my weaknesses and strengths are so that I can grow my weaknesses and I can use my strengths when I'm hitting the limit of my weakness.
Mm-hmm. To know thine own self.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It does not mean they're defiant and refuse to listen.
It may mean you are their safe space. Yeah.
Now that's a really hard one when it's like a physical thing.
Right. Yeah. And I would say 99% of this, we are not referring to physical meltdowns, physical lashing out type of meltdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Most of this is because I think you do have a different approach when the person is lashing out towards you physically. It's still not about you. I mean, they're still the one in crisis mode, but there's different steps you have to take to protect yourself and to protect the person.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, while it is probably 10 or 15%, it's like this percentage out of the whole thing. So, it's still not a good experience when you're going through it. But the majority of what we see is not physical toward another person.
But okay, I hate to say that that's not true for many, many parents who have children with unique needs. They experience a lot of physical. It's just not spoken of.
Okay.
Because like if you're part of some of the Facebook groups or support groups that used to meet in person that no longer do kind of thing, that a lot of times those are how do you handle it as they get bigger and they're lashing out and the doors, you're breaking windows, you're breaking TVs. So I'm trying to be real.
And I appreciate that.
I'm not. So unfortunately, it's a part of life for many, many parents, especially of older individuals that have those unique needs. If they cannot figure out how to communicate.
Yeah. And I appreciate that viewpoint because I do tend, when I think about these things, because of the teaching side of me, think about it in the schools, like school age. And that's where my experience has been. And so I do tend to, like, not intentionally, but my thoughts kind of stop before they truly become adult age. And so I do appreciate you bringing that perspective in because I don't have that one.
Okay. And I think I worked with adults with developmental disabilities. So I have that experience as well as my own children who are adult children now.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, I really don't have any I've not really done research into that age. So I really have no knowledge. So, so don't apologize or don't feel bad for saying it. What I'm trying to tell you is that was an excellent point because it needs to be said. Because again, when I see the word kids as in the title here, I'm thinking young people, but kids are kids. Hi, Mom. I'm 51. I'm still her kid. So yeah.
And we talk about adult kids. I mean, they will always be our kids.
Right.
Even though they're adults.
Right. Well, yeah, my 22-year-old is my kid.
Like I just had to drop by my son's house even because he was not the happiest. And to try to not to fix it or jump to their demands, but I needed to try to help communicate that which he could not communicate.
Right. Yep.
So
yeah, that's a whole. I need to write a second book, Those Who Can't Teach Too, but about people like yourself who now have adult aged children and what that's like. Because again, I bet that's a completely different perspective and viewpoint and experience. Because
it is a little bit, maybe.
Huh?
It is a bit because you have another whole area that you're tackling.
Right.
But I mean, that one thing I read that one day where it talks about, you raise your child with the expectation that they'll move out, and then you're gonna be able to experience their grandchildren, your grandchildren. Whereas I'm raising my kids with the expectation that I'm still going to be raising my kids, and then I got to need to make sure that someone else is around to raise my kids when I pass, because I will always be raising my kids. But I don't say that for someone to feel sorry for me or say that because it's horrible. It's just
that's your reality.
The life that's my reality. That's my life, and so from the time my son was born, I've been planning for his future. And then once I realized my daughter also had a unique set of needs, I'm planning for her future. And that's like in my thoughts continually. So,
yeah.
And
I want to address before we move on to the last one, it may mean you are their safe space.
Mm-hmm.
We do that. We show our true colors around the people that we know are going to love us, even when we show our true colors. So that's a privilege. No matter who it is that's feeling that you are their safe space, that's a privilege, because you have done something that has made them feel that way. So
and I've even seen that work out with individuals like I talked about previously, who are now the caretaker of their parents. They're the caring for them, and the parent can be okay with anyone else, but they lash out at their adult child, who is now having to care for them and make the decisions, because they are their safe space, their safe place. And that's why it's so important that we remember that, and that we have others that can help us carry that.
Yeah. Yep. So it doesn't always make it easy when you're a person's safe space, but it might soften it a little bit if you remember that that they are comfortable and safe enough to feel that they can be this person and let that stuff out, because it does need to come out. It isn't healthy for anybody to hold in their emotions, or, well, I guess it's their emotions. It just depends on how it comes out. So it actually can do physical damage to our bodies if we hold stuff in long enough.
Yeah, I've heard someone say that before.
I wonder who. I bet it was a really wise woman.
It was a very wise woman. She
must have been wise. Alex. It can't have been me. So the last one, because I think the last one there, and I do think there could be more, but I think this is a tough last one. And oftentimes what drives our reaction is because we oftentimes have this feeling. It does not mean they hate you.
It may mean they're still figuring out how to navigate their big feelings.
Yep. But it's hard when they're screaming at you.
Yeah.
And when they're calling you names, and when they're telling you they hate you, and when they're telling you it's your fault.
Or they just wish you were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. Why are they saying these things? Because especially if they've ever exhibited the one before, and you're their safe person and you're their safe space, they don't hate you. What they do probably hate, if their emotion is such a strong emotion that they actually feel hate, it's the situation. It's the circumstance.
Right.
It's not you.
Mm-hmm.
They hate that they don't have control. They hate that you told them no. They hate that, you know, their life is the way, I don't know. I mean, there's 8 billion people on the planet, and there are 8 billion reasons why people, and then some.
Right. Yeah.
As to why a person is feeling what they're feeling at any given time.
Yippee duper. So I'm going to drop that picture into the comments. That way, if anyone wants it, they can snag it.
Oh, awesome.
Is that a good thing? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah. If you can do that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. So.
And I so appreciate you finding this and sharing this, because these are things that are so important. And especially as we are coming up to, and kind of have been in actually since Thanksgiving, you know, because it seems to be at Thanksgiving when all that stuff starts kicking into gear. I think that was an excellent topic for today. And it's something that is very relevant. And it's what I love. I love talking about behavioral stuff.
Do you know?
Oh, did I never tell you that before? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have told you that before.
Alex.
A little heavy. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I see where some of it could be heavy. And yeah, like everything that Fran and I talked about is not just for kids. It's for adults. It's for, as Fran said, it's for me. It's for her. And all of those people who have been kind enough to watch with us and join us and participate with us.
It won't let me drop a picture, but I'll figure it out later once we're all said and done. Then I think I can.
Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted, I hope that, because I know it was heavy. I want everyone to know that you're human. And you're not perfect. And you're not perfect. I posted something on my page today about, let me see if I can find it.
It is a tough reality to grasp that we are human and that we are going to make mistakes and that we need to be okay with making those mistakes. I'm still struggling with that. I'm a whole lot better than I used to be.
This is what I posted. It's not about perfect, but it's about, I spend so much time trying to figure things out. I forget that it's okay to not have all the answers right now. Because it ties into the having to be perfect, because you gotta know it all. And
right.
But you don't have to be.
Yeah.
Because you and I both talked about it, that life, we're always learning. We're learners for life. There's always something we can learn.
Yep. We should always be teachable. That's how I've been how I've been autographing my books lately. Is at first it was always keep learning. But now I've changed it to always be teachable, which is kind of the same thing, but it's a little different.
Yeah. Because we can always learn, but are we teachable? Right. I want to be teachable. I don't want to be that I think I know everything. I don't know everything. I know I don't know everything. I don't know everything about those with unique needs. I just know my life experiences.
Yep. Yeah. There is a Christian comedian, songwriter. Oh, I cannot think of his name right now, but he tells the story of, he lives on a boat, or he did at this particular time that this event happened, and a tornado came through. And, you know, how awful it was and how scary it was. And I'm obviously paraphrasing his entire story here. But then when it was all said and done and he survived, he said, well, I would have enjoyed the journey more if I would have known I was going to be okay. You know, that's true. If we can remember that we're going to be okay, even through the journey, maybe it won't be quite so scary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He does an obviously much better job of telling you. And if I think of his name, it's Mark. Oh, I can see him, but I can't think of his name. I'll try to remember to look for the actual story and put the link to his YouTube clip of it into the chat, because it's actually one that my sister-in-law told us. She has a coffee cup now that it says something like that. If I would have known I was going to be okay, I would have enjoyed it more. So, yeah, but it's about time to wrap up.
Okay. Well, on that note,
we'll be here next week, right?
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. I don't know how slap happy, but we will be here. But so to wrap it up all in a nice little package with a little bow.
Yes.
Maybe it's a big bow. Are you doing it or am I doing it?
You're always better at wrap-ups than I am.
I don't know about that, but
no pressure.
Give it a go. No pressure. Here we go. Ready?
I am.
There is no pressure on you as the parent or the individual when someone with whom you are with that you have brought into a situation is having a quote meltdown. Just remember to be in the moment and to be their safe place. And you too shall get through it and come out on the other side.
Beautifully said. Okay. Well, thank you, Alex, and thank you, Mom, and anybody else who was joining but didn't comment. I am going to have to reach out to Mr. Michael, because he has not been with us on a Friday in a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he's been here,
yeah.
If they have been, they haven't been commenting anyway. So, yeah, him and Greg. Is that who you were going to say?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Be safe wherever you are. Stay warm or stay cool or stay dry or wherever you are. The weather.
Remember, you are never alone.
That's right. Never, ever. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.